Hi, I'm Lexi. This is my first video ever, so I just decided to do kind of like an everyday look. I mean, this is everyday for me, so not a lot of people like the glam, I guess. So you can add steps, take away steps, whatever you feel to make you comfortable. Yeah, well, thanks for watching. Make sure to like my video and subscribe if you like it. I guess you don't have to, but yeah, well, thank you. I hope you enjoy.
First, I'm going to take my Makeup Forever Skin Smoothing Primer and apply that all over the big areas of my face. And then I'm going to blend that out with a flat top brush. Next, I'm going to take my Smashbox Primer Water and spray that all over the face. And this helps it so it's tacky before you put your foundation on, so it really sticks. Next, I'll take my NARS Luminous Foundation and apply a few pumps to the back of my hand. And I'll use my big buffer brush from Morphe to buff that into the skin. And I'm using just circular motions to make sure it really gets all over. But I do want to stay away from my under eye area because we are going to conceal that. And I don't want to make it too cakey or heavy. Next, I'm going to take my NARS Creamy Concealer in the shade Light 2 and apply that in upside down triangles on my under eye area and a little above my forehead and on my chin. Next, I'll take my Beauty Blender and just blend it out with dabbing motions. To set the concealer, I'm using my Ben Nye powder in the shade Buff and putting it wherever I put my concealer. To set the rest of my face, I'm using Airspun translucent powder to keep me matte all day long and to minimize my pores. For my brows, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Taupe. I like to start towards the end of my brow just because that's where I want to use the most product. And really just going around the edges. I don't want to really go outside of my natural brow much because they already do have a pretty nice shape. And towards the front of the brow, I'm just going to line underneath just a little bit and then kind of flick my brush up so there's not too much product left and it'll blend really nice. I'm going to use the spoolie end too just to blend the product down so we don't have too much. To carve out my brows, I'm using that same concealer I used on my under eyes and just going around the edges to clean it up a little. To avoid harsh lines, I just use my finger to diffuse the edges. To prime my lids, I'm using Urban Decay's Primer Potion and just applying it all over my eye up into my brow a little bit. To set the primer, I'm using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette, and I'm going to use the first shade because it's super close to my skin tone and just apply that all over. Next, I'm going to take that second shade in the palette and apply it in my crease and just blend it out. I don't want too much definition just because this is an everyday look, so I'm just kind of swiping all over and not using too much product. Next, I'm using the Kat Von D ink liner in the shade Trooper, and I'm going to try and keep that as close to the lash line as I can. I don't like my wings to be straight out from my eyes, so I like to aim it towards the tail of my brow. Just kind of fill in the gaps as you go. Next, I'm going to take the black shade in the palette and dust it over my lower lash line, but making sure to really blend it out because we don't want it to be too harsh. For my eyelashes, I'm using the Vegas Nail Lashes by Allure in the style Grand Glamour. And I'm using the Duo Dark Toned Adhesive. And I'm just making sure that it's getting all over the lash band, and I like to put just a little bit more in both of the corners so they really stick. And I like to let my glue sit for about a minute before I put it on so it's super tacky and it doesn't slide all over the place. I'm gonna try and place that as close to my lash line as possible and then just push that in there so they really stay. I forgot to show this, but I did put mascara on before I did this just so they blend in better because my lashes are pretty light. Next, I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just dust that over the places where we set my concealer. To warm it up a little, I'm using the Marc Jacobs Light Filtering Contour Powder, and I'm going to apply that all over my hairline and then down onto my cheekbones as well, just to give it some definition. To be more precise, I'm taking that same powder and the Real Techniques sculpting brush and applying that right underneath my cheekbones. I'm going to take the darkest shade in the Kat Von D contour palette and apply it right towards my hairline and blend it out with the other side of the brush to make my cheekbones really pop. To brighten it up a little, I'm applying the other side of the Marc Jacobs Compact right underneath my eyes and then right underneath my contour too to make it really sharp. Next, I'm going to take this BECCA highlighter in the shade Moonstone and apply it on top of my cheekbones, down the center of my nose, on the inner corners of my eyes, and right underneath my brows on my brow bone because that's where you really want to glow. Next, I'm using this NARS blush in the shade Angelica and starting at the apples of my cheeks and just blending it upwards. Also, to set my face, I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. For my lips, I'm using the NYX Mahogany Lip Liner and the Jeffree Star Liquid Lipstick in the shade I'm Nude. To prep my lips, I like to use what's ever left over on my foundation brush and just buff over them. Normally, I do stay pretty true to my natural lip shape when lining, but I do like to kind of stray off towards the top and make it just a little more rounded. To give it that plumped effect, I'm going to apply a couple lines just on the inside and then darken out those corners too to really make them pop. For the lipstick, I'm using light pressure, but around the edges, I do push a little harder to make sure that the lip liner and the lipstick blend seamlessly. And this is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.